Uh, some of these are really funny stories, but Gallet is great. I had to get him off of my knee uh, to get up and leave and come here. But yeah, he's fine. Whoa, you're knocking over my soda here. All right. So, again, this is the first story, Tria Maria. Now, this is about, well, I'll read you what the back says. A heartwarming true story about an American couple who, while vacationing in the tiny village of Gennady on the island of Rhodes in Greece, find a blind, abandoned 3-week-old kitten. Following a horrendous thunderstorm on the anniversary of the September 11th tragedy. Told from the point of view of the little feral cat, this is the story of how the American visitors cared for the kitten, nursing her back to health, and how, to the villagers' surprise, they made the decision to bring little Tria Maria back to their Vermont home in the United States. I certainly will, Gusti. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the pictures. Alright, and then I'm going to read each page and show you the picture. Alright, so again, this is Tria Maria, the cat with no eyes. Alright, and I have a real friendly boy here. On a hot summer day in the middle of August, I was born on the little village of Gennady on the island of Rhodes in Greece. All right. And my mother, Poppy, chose an old deserted shed to have her family. It was 100 degrees in the village, but the shed was so cool inside, and it protected my 2 brothers and me from harm. It was dark and I couldn't see my family, but I could feel my brothers beside me, all nestled up against our mother, who fed us and washed our faces with her tongue. Hi, Ms. M. Yeah, once upon a time. Sorry, that wasn't part of the book. Yeah. When we were 2 weeks old, Poppy thought it was time for us to go outside the shed and explore the streets and fields of Gennady. But when we all went outside to look around, I couldn't see anything. For me, it was just as dark as it was inside the shed. Something wasn't right. Actually, something just wasn't right. My brothers wanted to play with me like little kittens do, but when they reached out to touch me, I could feel their paws. But I couldn't see to pat at them with my own paws. And when I did try to play with them, I would sometimes accidentally stumble into my mother, or worse, bang, into a rock. So here's a picture of Tria Maria with the rock. You doing, you silly girl. You are very friendly. I'm surprised you haven't been adopted yet. Alright. At the end of the day, when it was time for our mother to take us back to the safety of the shed, I had difficulty following everyone home. My mother was a little upset with me for not following the others, and had to pick me up by the scruff of my neck to carry me back. There we go. First, this page doesn't want to show you real well, but you can see he's being picked up by the scruff. Right. At first, Poppy thought I was having trouble getting my baby eyes open. She and my brothers didn't realize that for some reason that only God understands, I had been born without eyes. I would never be able to see. This is a true story, too. When we were just 3 weeks old, Mother took us out into an olive grove to play and to start learning about the world outside the shed. Even though I couldn't see, I could still feel my brothers near me, and we all went exploring and pretend fighting, like little kittens do. After a while, Poppy called out to us because the wind started blowing and she could see a storm coming and wanted us to get back to the safety of our shed. Suddenly, my brothers ran off back to our mother, but they left so quickly and the wind howled so loudly that I couldn't decide which way they went. I tried to find them using my sense of smell and listening as carefully as I could, but the wind howled and swirled around me, and of course, without eyes, I could not see the way back to where Poppy and my brothers were all safely snuggled in the shed. Soon it began pouring rain, and then the most frightening sound that I have ever heard happened. Giant crackling explosions in the sky, followed by thunderclaps so loud that they shook the ground all around me. I huddled under a thyme bush. I was soaked and hungry and covered in burrs, but most of all, I was very frightened. I hoped my mother would find me, and I waited to hear her call for me, but soon I grew so tired that I curled up into a tiny ball and fell fast asleep. I was so exhausted that I slept under the thyme bush all night long, and when I awoke in the morning, the storm was over and the warm Greek sun started to shine through the clouds. I found out later that this awful storm had taken place on September 11th, and that all of the American tourists in Gennady had made note of this because it was the same date that another terrible event had happened in America. I have a friend here who is keeping me company. By now I was starving, hoping that I would soon have breakfast, especially since I had no supper the night before. Soaked and covered in burrs, I crawled out from the thyme bush and started looking for the shed where I thought Poppy and my brothers would be waiting for me. However, I soon had to give up. I was hopelessly lost and I was growing faint with hunger. I had one last idea. I could still meow, and so I climbed onto the biggest rock I could and called up into the air to my lost family, hoping they would at last hear me and come to take me back home. I used my biggest outdoor voice and called as loud and as long as I could. Hello, Aunt Donna. Alright. I was hungry, wet, and so tired that I was about to give up and go back to the safety of the thyme bush. Suddenly I heard voices, but not the voices of Poppy or my brothers. These were voices that I only heard a few times before. They were the voices of humans, those tall creatures who Poppy had taught us to avoid because some of the villagers didn't like cats. All of a sudden, one of the humans, I later discovered that his name was Ralph, picked me up from the marble rock. I was so tiny that my little kitten body could fit entirely into the palm of his hand. I could just tell right away that these humans were friendly and that they would take care of me. Soon we were inside the villa of Ralph and his wife, Hunani. Hunani. They dried me off, and Hunani started picking all the sticky burrs off my little tired body, while Ralph rushed off to the market to get some baby milk to feed me. There were over 100 tiny burrs stuck to my kitten fur. When Ralph came back with the milk, they warmed it in a small saucer, and I soon was enjoying my first meal in over a day. After I was fed and all cleaned up, I felt so relaxed that I fell sound asleep in Hunani's arms. Look at this cute little picture. Roll asleep. When I awoke, I still felt weak from my stormy ordeal, but I felt safe with Ralph and Hunani. I could tell that they cared for me and were trying to make me stronger so that I could get back to my mother and my brothers. They took turns holding me and keeping me warm by wrapping me in a dish towel. Later, they took me outside to explore the courtyard and to let me once again feel that wonderful great sun on my back. When they noticed that I kept bumping into things, they became concerned, and after looking at my face for a while, they were worried that I could not see.
Good night, everybody. Enjoy your
Good night.
story.
Good night. At first, Ralph and Hunani just thought that my baby eyes had not opened yet. But to be sure, they took me to Mr. Cristofali, the town veterinarian, for an examination. He carefully examined me and after a while said in a very sad voice, "Ohi Mattia." With these Greek words, the veterinarian told Ralph and Hunani that I was blind. He explained to them that for some reason known only to God, I was born with no eyeballs. Ralph and Hunani took me back to their villa and gave me more food and held me in their arms and worried about me because I was still very weak. Late into the evening, while watching me sleep in a little bed they had made for me out of an old cardboard box, they talked about what they should do next with a 4-week-old, weak, blind kitten. They decided to nurse me back to health with the hope of eventually reuniting me with Poppy and my brothers. In the meantime, they carried me all over Gennady, down to the village square and even to the beautiful 9-mile-long beach that borders the town. I loved hearing the waves crash on shore, knowing that I was always safe wrapped up in the dish towel cuddled in Hunani's arms. I also liked to stretch out on the sunbed beside her and bask in the Aegean sunshine. There we go. When it was time for lunch, Ralph and Hunani took me with them to their favorite taverna by the sea called Klimi's. All of Klimi's customers thought it was a little strange to see a tiny kitten wrapped up like a baby, lying in Hunani's lap while they ate lunch. I especially liked it when they ordered octopus, Ralph's favorite dish, because they would let me have tiny bites of this special Greek delicacy. I was still very weak and got tired easily. One day I was so weak that I couldn't eat, and Ralph and Hunani decided to take me into the big city of Rhodes town to have me examined by a specialist veterinarian, Dr. Haridopoulos, who they simply called Dr. Harry. He looked me over and took some of my blood for analysis. He confirmed that I was a feral cat, meaning wild, and that indeed I was totally blind. He injected me with medicine and also sent me home with some pills to take twice a day. Dr. Harry told Ralph and Hunani that it was very unusual for people to take feral cats into their homes, especially sick little blind kittens. But he could tell that they really cared a lot for me and wanted to see me get healthy. I think the cats are enjoying the story too. My new human friends took me everywhere in the village. Soon I was the talk of the town. Many people thought it was very strange to care so much for a feral cat, especially a blind one. But other villagers thought that Ralph and Hunani were very caring to be so concerned about me. Some of them even said that Ralph and Hunani had not adopted me, but that I had adopted them. So they all wanted to know what they were going to do with me when it was time for them to return from their vacation in Gennady and go back to the United States of America and their home in Vermont. All I knew was that I was so happy that they had adopted me, and I loved them very much. The weeks passed by quickly. I was never out of their sight. They took me to the market for groceries, to the town laundry, to the bakery. Oh, how I loved the smells there. To the tavernas for lunch, and of course, to the beach. One time, Hunani waded into the Aegean Sea with me, held tightly in her arms. Of course, I could not see the ocean water all around me, and I tried to jump down. Luckily, Hunani caught me again just before I dunked into the sea. This is a nice little picture, too. Do you see how there's the hand? Hi, Jessie. How you doing? She came back and told Ralph what had happened, and they agreed that from now on, when I was at the seaside, I should just stay on the sunbed or just explore the beautiful beach. The time was fast approaching when my adopted friends would have to leave Gennady and return to their Vermont home in America. One night when we were all back in the villa having just finished our dinner, I heard Ralph say to Hunani, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" "Yes," replied Hunani, "I think we should take her home." "Well," Ralph responded, "we better give her a name." I could just tell by the way they were talking that they were talking about me. They decided to call me Tria Maria. Tria because I was the third kitten in Poppy's family, and Maria because that is one of the most popular names for girls in Greece. For the next few days, we were very busy making arrangements for me to travel back on the airplane to America. Most important was to get a pet passport from Dr. Harry. The pet passport had to record all the vaccinations that I was required to have before leaving Greece. And it had to have a statement from Dr. Harry that I have had no diseases and that I was ready for travel halfway around the world. The only thing I didn't like was the microchip that had to be injected into my back so that I could be identified by an official. Ouch! So here is she saying, "Ouch!" I also had to get a special carry case so that I could travel in the cabin of the plane with Ralph and Hunani. And Dr. Harry gave my new owner some prescriptions for medicine and special baby cat food to help me get stronger for the long trip back to their home in Vermont. We spent the whole afternoon in Rhodestown shopping for all my supplies. Just like that, it was time to leave. Everyone in the village was sad to see our family leaving, but they were happy that Ralph and Hunani had decided to adopt me and take me with them back to America. I don't know if you can see this, but Tria Maria's got like red, white, blue on. Isn't that cute? At the airport, the customs officials wanted to examine my pet passport and were a little amused that these two Americans had decided to take a little blind Greek kitten back home with them. I'm having flashbacks of bringing Gallant home. You know, bringing him out of the carrier, you know, having to go through TSA, you know, but he was perfect. It was exciting boarding the plane and getting all settled in for the long flight back to my new home. Of course, I couldn't see out of the plane's windows, but my new masters looked out of the eye of the roads and just thought to themselves, people back home are going to be very surprised by the new addition to the family. And there they are on the plane. I wondered what my new life would be like in America, especially in the Vermont home where Ralph and Hunani lived. Somehow, I just knew that it would be very different from Greece, and it would only be a few hours until I was there to discover a new life. The end. Is that a nice story? I don't know. I think I saw this book. Oh, it looks like they have some other books, but I haven't seen them. Watch for more Tria Maria stories. Tria Maria in Vermont. Tria Maria goes on holiday. Coming soon. So I didn't know that there were other books. I think what inspired me to get this was combination of the blind cats that have been here at FFRC, and also Oscar the blind cat, and the great work that Blind Cat Rescue does, and that's in North Carolina. So let me just take a little break. I'm going to take a little sip, and I will start reading the next book. Thank you, Aunt Donna. Hey, do you mind if I get this book out from under you? Hey. Alrighty. So just give me a couple minutes and then you will get started again. Oh, no problem. I was going to see if I can read one of the stories about the Coveys and the Porchies. Just maybe one story. And yeah, I think this is a good one. I'll just tell you, the problem is a lot of the kitties that are in this book have since passed on. So I'll read you one that I know has not passed on. Anani. The name means angel. Hi everyone, I'm Anani. Some of you who watch the webcam may remember when I was in the main center. For those who don't, here's my story. I was born December 10th, 2010. About 11 months later, I found myself on the streets, alone and cold. I could tell you how I ended up there, but I'd rather not think about those months I spent trying to find food and shelter. One day it was really very cold. Heard about this place called FFRC from some of the scuttlebutt around town, so I tried to find it. I knew it was my only chance of survival. One day, while traveling on the road, it was just so cold. I saw this moving machine thing and climbed up under the hood because it was warm there. Then I heard this big noise, and the moving machine started moving. I hung on for dear life. Then, after a while, it stopped, and I meowed a little because I was so scared it was going to start again. Then the hood opened up, and this wonderful woman named Linda looked at me and said, "Oh my goodness, how did you get in there?" She wrapped me in a warm blanket and held me close. Actually, no, both stories are not already done. I only read one story. I'm just reading a little appetizer before I get to the second story. I don't think I ever felt so happy or so loved. Linda said, "I am taking you to Jackie right away." And she did. Mama Jackie checked me out from head to tail. I remember them saying how lucky I was that I wasn't hurt. Little did they know how hard I held on while Linda was driving, and thank goodness she was not a speed demon. I don't think I could have held on. On November 9th, 2011, my life changed forever. Finally, I didn't have to worry about my next meal or keeping warm. Mama Jackie said so. I didn't have a name. Nobody has ever given me a name before. People would see me and just say cat or kitty or some other words I didn't understand. Mama Jackie sat me down one day and said my name would be Anani. I looked at her with a strange look on my face, as I wasn't sure if I liked the name, and then she explained where it came from. In the fall 2011, the washer broke in the main center. They do loads and loads of washes every day, so it was a big deal, and they are not cheap. The dryer was so old and on its last legs. So I guess Mama Jackie knew she needed to buy at least a washer and someday a dryer. But she worried about how to pay for it. Then one day this man drove up to her in the parking lot and simply said hi and gave her an envelope and drove away. She opened it up and it was a gift card for Lowe's for $750. It simply said, "From Anonymous." She was stunned and so very grateful. Then a few hours later, another envelope was delivered. It said to open up with boxes that night, so she did. And it was a note that said, "From Mr. Anonymous's wife for the new washer and dryer." Inside were two $500 gift cards from Lowe's. Combined, it was enough for a new washer and dryer. In honor of these two angels and all the people who do wonderful things every day without the need for notice or fanfare, I was named Anani. Once she told me that story, I changed my mind and decided I liked the name Anani. It stands for goodness. It stands for those who see what needs to be done and just do it. I am proud to be called Anani. So once I got my name, I had to get used to FFRC. At first I was scared in the center. There were so many other cats, as well as some very loud, noisy kittens. No, not here. You think there's a lot of noisy kids here? No. There was this one little kitten who cried so loud my eardrums almost burst. I couldn't understand why I was allowed out though, and got really stressed about it. Mama Jackie tried to talk to me and tell me it was best if I stayed indoors, but I hate to be confined. I promised I would give it a try, and I did. Really, I did. But it got so stressful. I just wanted to spend a little time outside. I got so upset I started spraying all over the place. And every time someone got too close, I just got so stressed. It wasn't pretty. I'll be the first to admit it. So Mama Jackie said, let's see if maybe Kitty City would be less stressful. Yeah, this is like 2011. I was a little scared, but thought I'd give it a try. Let me tell you, from the minute I walked in, the other cats were great. They were all so cool and laid back. I went up to each of them, introduced myself, and they would be like, yeah, whatever, or sure, the litter box is over there. Take the top bunk if you want it. It was great, and all my stress went away. Then about a month ago, we got moved to Cat's Cove. The other cats kept telling me that I would love it here, and I do. We get to go outside for a few hours every day. I love to follow the chickens around. They are pretty cool. Those geese have serious issues, though. They keep honking at me every time I get too close. And I'm not very fond of the goats. I love being a Cat's Cove cat. I don't feel any more stress. My good friend Linda visits me too. She always gives me an extra hug. And I always remember that she saved my life and brought me here to have the best life. Well, that's my story. Oh, and I like bonita flakes, if anyone wanted to know. Those catnip bananas are pretty good too. So, let me see what it says about Anani. You're right, it was 2011. November 9th, 2011. All right. I just thought I'd give you a little appetizer. And now we're going to go into the True or False Book of Cats. Alrighty. Cats and people. Thousands of years ago, some old world peoples learned to plant seeds and grow crops. They harvested grain and stored it for later use. Soon they had a problem. Armies of field mice discovered the stores of grain. They moved in to feast on it. In some areas, small wild cats discovered the armies of mice. They moved in to feast on the mice that were feasting on the grain. And that was how people and cats came to know each other. And look at this picture. Oh, that is a very mad-looking cat. Cats were prized as mouse catchers. Friendly ones were soon prized as pets. Sailors and other travelers learned about these cats. They bought or stole cats and took them home. In this way, tame cats spread all over the old world. Later, the New World was discovered. Its settlers brought their cats. When pioneers moved west, they took their cats. Almost everywhere, cats were treasured as pets and as the world's best mousetraps. Today's cats still catch mice, but they are mostly valued as pets because they are affectionate, clean, quiet, and easy to care for. See how much you know about cats. Read each statement in this book. Decide whether it's true or false. Then read the answer. Give yourself a score of perfect or nearly perfect. All right? So that's the story. Okay. Let's go into the true or false. True or false, cats don't like to be stared at. All right. Of course, it really goes into a long discussion of whether it's true or false. Watch two cats lock eyes and stare at each other. The staring is not friendly. Finally, one gives in and looks away. With luck, no fur will fly. To a cat, a stare is a threat. And so, it is true that cats don't like to be stared at. Your own cat likes to look at you, and it likes to look back. But be sure to blink or half close your eyes. Your cat may do the same. Looking without staring is like blowing kisses. It's warm and friendly. All right. Cats often sit in the laps of guests who don't like cats. Some people think the cats are being mean, but they really aren't. When a cat enters a room, guests who like cats usually stare at the cat. A guest who doesn't like cats looks away. To the cat, this person seems the friendliest one in the room, with the best lap to sit in. So here's that picture of that guest who doesn't like cats. You see the picture of the smiling kitten? Looks a little like the late great Farrah. So, some funny little pictures on here. Alright. Next, true or false. A cat that rubs against your legs is saying hello. True or false? Rubbing is one way that cats greet people, and so it's true that a cat is saying hello. But the cat is also doing something else. It is marking you, and the mark says, "This person belongs to me." Cats have special scent glands on their heads and tails. When a cat rubs against you, it rubs a scent on you. Humans can't smell this scent, which is probably just as well. But other cats can. Cats have a keen sense of smell. They may spend minutes sniffing a person, a rug, or a place where other animal has been. No one knows what they are learning, but it seems to be very interesting. And look at all these cats. It could be here, huh? All right. Cats can see in total darkness. True or false? If there is no light at all, no one can see. So it's false. To say that cats can see in total darkness. But cats don't need much light to see. They can see when you can't. That's why it seems as if they can see without light. In many ways, human eyes and cat eyes are alike. Light enters the eye through a hole called the pupil. It falls on an area behind the eyeball. This area is lined with millions of cells. They sense light and send messages to the brain. The brain makes sense out of the messages and the person or cat sees. A cat's eyes have extra cells that human eyes don't have. These cells act like mirrors. They gather up light that escaped the light-sensing cells. They bounce the light back into the eye. A cat uses every bit of light that enters its eyes. That is the main reason why it sees well in dim light. So, they look like little aliens, huh? You know, that might be the Siamese kittens in the back. In the back. So, all right. True or false? Cats can't see color. Like human eyes, cat eyes have two kinds of cells that sense light. These are called rods and cones. Rods sense dim light, in which no color is seen. Cones sense bright light, in which color can be seen. Even so, scientists long thought it was true that cats couldn't see color. Cats are most active at night when there is no color. In hunting, cats find their prey by sound and movement, not by color. So these scientists said cats don't need to see color and cannot see color. Today, scientists say that is false and that cats can see color. Cats do not pay much attention to color, but tests show that they can see it. Right? Many cat owners have long been sure their cats see color. A pet may, for example, always choose a pink bowl instead of a blue, purple, or yellow one. It can also tell its own bowl by color. All right. Let me see if there was a picture with that. Yeah, there's a little picture over there. All right. All right. I'm going to say true or false, and then I'm going to take a sip of soda, and then I'm going to give you the answer. True or false? A cat's whiskers are feelers. When people speak of a cat's whiskers, they usually mean the long whiskers on the upper lip. Look carefully and you will see many more. There are whiskers on the chin, over the eyes, and far back on the cheeks. There are also whiskers on the back of the front legs. All of these whiskers are feelers. In fact, they are remarkable feelers. Whiskers help a cat judge if there is room for its body to squeeze through a small opening. Lip whiskers are used in hunting. When a cat catches a mouse, its whiskers surround the prey. The cat senses the shape of the mouse and knows exactly where to bite. Whiskers also help a cat move about in the dark. Although cats can see in the dark, they do not see as well as they do with more light. Whiskers give them extra information about what lies ahead. The whiskers sense air currents. Hello.
How are you?
All right, how are you?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
You got a job in here, huh?
Yeah, it's good to see a human being other than my wife. When air currents meet a rock or some other object, they change direction and go around the object. A cat's whiskers sense this tiny change. The cat learns that something is in its path. That is how whiskers work with eyesight and help a cat find its way in the dark. So you're going to see all these pictures of whiskers. All right, next, true or false. Cats can hear sounds that humans can't hear. True or false? And I'll wait a couple minutes before I start reading. A couple seconds, actually. All right. Cats have sharp ears and can hear many things that people cannot. They hear sounds that are too faint for human ears. They also hear sounds that are too high-pitched for human ears, such as the squeaks of mice. When cats hunt, their eyes and ears work together. A cat holds still, waits, looks, and listens. A tiny rustle, a high-pitched squeal, or a moving leaf may tell of prey. A cat's outer ear collects sounds. They are very good at this. They can be turned forward, sideways, or back. Each ear moves by itself. A cat can turn one forward and one back. I think we all know that. Watch a cat and you will see it's always listening. Even a napping cat is listening. If something interesting happens, the cat is up and awake in a flash. Old cats, like old humans, do not hear high-pitched sounds as well as young ones. Now, do you see this little Persian? Does that remind you of anybody? Let's see if somebody, look at that. Are you biting that? So, let's see, am I thinking of the same kitten that, or cat, as that? Doesn't that look like somebody that we knew here at FFRC? All right. There's also that cute little black cat with the ears swiveled. Hey, don't bite those. Don't bite those. What are you doing? That's not nice. This kitty here, you're biting the cords. All right. Next one. Cats can sense that an earthquake is going to happen. True or false? Time and again, people have reported that their cats became very upset an hour or two before a big earthquake took place. The cats suddenly rushed about the house, trying to get out. Once out, they fled from buildings. Mother cats ran back and forth, carrying their kittens out of the house. Oh, look at that one. Cats don't understand what an earthquake is. But it does seem to be true that they sense something strange and it frightens them. Perhaps they hear sounds that people can't hear. Perhaps they sense something else. Scientists know that quakes are caused by forces inside the earth. The forces put strain on rock. When the rock snaps or shifts, an earthquake takes place. Before a quake, many small changes take place in the earth. Scientists have instruments that can tell them about some of these changes, but they would like very much to know what it is that cats sense. So here's a picture of the cat startled from a possible earthquake. Here's the mother cat taking the baby kitten down the steps. All right, this is a good one. True or false? Cats need to sharpen their claws. All right, a cat's claws are used for hunting, fighting, and climbing. They need to be kept in good shape to be sharpened. A cat sharpens its claws by wearing away or peeling off the outside layer, much as you might sharpen a pencil. Now, the front claws are curved needles. They can be moved in and out. Some of the time they are drawn in and hidden. Some of the time they are out and in use. A cat sharpens them on trees and on rugs, furniture, and even scratching posts. You may find what looks like a claw in a place where a cat has been scratching. It's an outside layer that came off whole. A cat having a good scratch is also getting some exercise. It is exercising its shoulder muscles and the muscles that move its front claws. The hind claws cannot be drawn all the way in. They wear down as a cat walks or runs, and so they are blunter, or how about more blunt, than the front claws. Cats keep these claws in shape by chewing off the outer layers. So here's a couple pictures, and boy, this kitty here is being bad. So look. All right, I'm going to stand up for a second because did you catch the eye? Silly guy. All right. Cats have a hard time coming down trees. True or false? All right. Using its claws and its strong muscles, a cat can go up a tree as fast as it can run. The hind legs push. The curved front claws hook and grip the tree trunk. But coming down is not so easy. Most cats have a hard time. The muscles of the hind leg are most suited to pushing forward and up. A cat comes down rear first so that its claws will act as hooks. Boy. But the hind claws do not grip the tree well. The cat is really hanging by its front claws. To start down is to slide. To make matters worse, a cat has good eyesight. It can see that the ground is far away. A cat may spend hours in a tree wailing for human help. Finally, it starts to slip and slide down. Once it nears the ground, a cat turns and jumps the rest of the way. So, Are you biting my book? Hey. Hey. You're a naughty little boy. Oh, girl. Alright. True or false? I think everybody's going to get this one right. Cats have 9 lives. Hey, can I have this? Thank you. Alright. Like other animals and people, cats have 1 life, not 9. But cats may seem to have more than 1 life because they are quick and nimble. They often escape harm when another animal might not. For example, cats are excellent climbers, but they do sometimes fall. In a flash, a fallen cat rights itself, twisting its head and body. It stretches all 4 legs towards the ground and arches its back. All this happens too fast for the human eye to see, but slow motion film shows how a falling cat is able to land on its feet. So they got this picture of this cat that's falling. And then, just la 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 la, just by. Alright. True or false? Cats have dreams. Scientists have studied sleep in cats much as they have studied sleep in humans. They can tell which parts of the brain are active. They can tell if the eyes are moving. Rapid eye movement is a sign of dreaming. And they say that cats do dream. Cats sleep a lot, as much as 16 hours a day. Most of the time they are taking short naps, cat naps. They also settle down for longer sleeps. First there is a long, light sleep. Next there is a short, deep sleep. After that there is light sleep, then deep. Cats dream when they are in deep sleep. If you are watching, you will see paws, tail, or whiskers twitch. The cat may growl, purr, or make other sounds. Probably it is dreaming of catching mice, sitting in a lap, eating a tasty meal, having a fight, but we will never know for sure. Yeah, cats snore. I was thinking that too. Our little Guinness boy snores. So you can see that this little kitty is dreaming. Alright. Oh, this is a good one. Hey. Hey, you. Hey. What are you doing? Oh, I'm being climbed right now. Oh, there's a little measer climbing me. Alright, true or false? Can you answer this? Nobody really knows why cats bring home their prey. True or false? Mother cats bring mice to their kittens. They use the mice to teach the young how to hunt. They're climbing my legs, just to let you know. Some people think the cats are trying to teach us to hunt by bringing home prey. But this doesn't seem likely. A cat simply puts its prey down and walks away. It does not show its person what to do with a mouse, a mole, a snake, a frog. Perhaps the prey is a present. It is something the cat likes, and it is something you do not catch for yourself. But the truth is, nobody knows for sure why cats bring prey home. Little Pinkerton is climbed up, and look, there's the kitty who's bringing a snake into the bed. Hey there. I don't know if you're Pinkerton. Yeah, I think you are Pinkerton. Alrighty. A cat signals its feelings with its tail. True or false? Look at that kitty. Look at that kitty. Alright. You can tell how a cat is feeling by looking at his tail. That is true. So, let's see if I could show you this. With a slightly bent tail, I'm at peace with the world. With a fluffy tail, the tail up in the air, I am feeling friendly. With the tail between the legs, I give up. Don't hurt me. With the tail wagging real fast, now you've done it, I'm really angry. With just the tip of the tail, says I'm cross. And then if the tail is completely straightened out and all puffy, I'm going to attack. Now, those are the pictures. A cat's ears also signal its feelings. True or false? Like its tail, a cat's ears are clues to its feelings. All right. So we got this here with the ears completely up. Says I'm relaxed and at peace. And then there's one where it looks like actually the ears are turned the opposite way. Excuse me. What are you doing? You little stinkerton. You little stinkerton. All right, let's put you down. Here's where the ears are completely up, but they're not curved. They're not turned to the side. It says, what's that I hear? This is where the ears are flat against the head. I don't really want to fight, but I'll get my ears out of the way just in case. And then we got the ears. They are completely in the back. It says, I'm ready to attack. And then it looks like the ears are completely up again and they're on opposite sizes. All is right with the world. Alrighty. Just a couple more pages. Purrs and meows are just noises that cats make. True or false? Cats cannot talk in words, but they have many ways of saying how they feel. Purrs and meows are much more than just noises. Purring is a sign of friendliness. Like a human smile, it says, I mean you no harm. It is often the sign of a contented cat. A gentle meow or a sound like says, here I am, hi. Which is funny because Guinness, every time Guinness comes into our room, he announces himself like, so that's why I think that's funny, because he does that. Here I am. A louder meow demands attention, asking you to open a door or window or to fix the cat dinner. A different meow may mean that the cat is wet, lonely, lost, or in trouble. Somebody shut me in the closet. Screams and yowls tell of pain, mating, or a cat fight. A hiss says, watch out. When a cat sees prey it cannot reach, its teeth may chatter. The sound means, I'd like to get my teeth in you. Right? That's that. Some scientists have taped the sounds that cats make. They say cats make a great variety of sounds, perhaps more than any other kind of animal. Listen carefully. You may be surprised at what you hear and learn. So here's some of the pictures. Right. And that's the end of this book. So that's 2 books. And what I think I will do is I'll read you one more story of a covey. And probably one of everybody's favorite coveys. What do you think? Alright, this is called Savan, the Boss of Cat's Cove. Well, you've heard our stories, every single one of them, except for mine, of course. 16 of my brothers and sisters have told you a little about themselves. Maybe some of these stories have made you laugh or cry, but hopefully all of them have made you understand something very important. I've heard people say that Putter is the sheriff in the main center. Well, here I'm the boss. Sometimes Jonah and I fight over that fact, but we always walk away from each other after a very long stare down. He thinks he's won, but I know I have. So as the boss of Cat's Cove, I thought it was important that all of you hear our stories. We occasionally signed on the chat and read the comment and about the cats in here. We've heard some very nice things said about everyone, especially the volunteers. But truthfully, we, the cats of the Cove, are not sure all of our webcam viewers really know just how much the volunteers do and just how much the entire Friends of Felines Rescue Center does for many more cats than you see every day on cam. So we wanted you to know our stories, how important the volunteers are in our lives. We wanted you to know that for every one of us, if it wasn't for FFRC, we probably wouldn't be alive. All of us, for some reason, were given up on. But we were not given up on by FFRC. Not by Jackie, and not by the many volunteers who work hard here every day with a simple motto: every cat matters. For me, I was born January 15th, 2003. I came to live here almost 1 year later on January 10th, 2004. I was declared not needed. I was put out in the winter and told to fend for myself. No cat can survive that, but especially one that isn't even a year old. But someone found me and knew there was one place I could go where I mattered. So I came here to live in my home with my brothers and sisters. We are all so very different, but we share a common bond. We were forgotten, but found a place where we are always remembered. We are accepted for the type of cats we are, each with individual personalities. We get angry sometimes. We act in ways some people may not approve of in their cats. But we also play and cuddle and know we will always have food, water, shelter, and love. You have read our stories. You have read that some of us are shy or quiet or disagreeable. You have met our wise one, our sensitive one, and our ultra-friendly one. You have heard how we have gotten here. For finding our way here ourselves, or being dropped off by others, to being found almost dead on the side of the road, to being caught by determined volunteers who knew that we needed help. You have gotten to know us just a little, and I hope, as do all of my Cove brother and sisters, that you always remember our stories. We all hope you don't forget us. We all hope that when you see a volunteer in the center scooping litter, feeding the center cats, vacuuming and washing the floor, and giving love to the center cats, that you know they do the same for us. They do this because we matter. They do this because, and to quote my brother Simone, they are our heroes. We all hope when cute little Hoops is shown being tickled on cam, that you know that we are tickled too. My friend Greg just loves me. He always gives me a big belly rub. Sometimes I love it so much I just fall right over from the excitement. We all hope that when you see Farrah get her daily meds, that you know some of us do too, like Honey when her skin condition flares up. And unfortunately, I know that those kitties have departed us. We all hope that when you see Cutie climb up on one of the volunteers' laps for a petting, that we get those petting sessions too. Or when Mama calls Asha her chunka-munka, she kids with me that I'm her little head disease, because my head hasn't grown as much as my body, and she loves me just the same. I do eat a lot. See, I've never forgotten what it was like to be hungry and not have any food for days at a time. So I store up, even though I know I will never be hungry again. We hope that when someone new comes on chat and asks questions about the center, you always let them know there are other cats loved just as much that live in Cats Cove. We have shown you the pictures and ask that you look into our eyes, and in them you will see we are survivors who just need a little help. We wanted to tell our stories so that you know when you pass that cat on the side of the road looking lonely and lost, they may need help too. That maybe someone told them they weren't needed and needed to find a place where they matter too. We hope that you will help them if you can, or find someone who will. And when you feel you need to know where they came from, that you instead ask, where am I going to take them to? For us, the answer is Cats Cove, our home where we live and where we are loved. Thank you for reading our stories. Thank you for smiling at us and maybe even crying with us. Thank you for supporting the Friends of Felines Rescue Center, because this is our home. And if you ever think you couldn't possibly do anything to help us, well, you are wrong. As a man who helped to change the world once said, you only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. This is Sylvan saying on behalf of all my brothers and sisters, remember, every cat matters. So, there's also there's some stories about the sun porch cats too, but I know a lot of them have since passed on. I wanted to read you a couple stories in here of the two cats that are still here and that are well loved. And I have another book too of stories, and I'm going to try to find them because I was asking Jackie, maybe we can do this twice a week or whatever, at least until this social distancing is over. Just I think it'll be a good time killer. And I told Jackie, I said, thank you, Jabberwocky, thank you, Tweety. I thought that maybe I could come here when nobody else is here. It's a natural social distancing. And I got a lot of stories. I mean, my wife Bonnie, as you guys know, was a teacher, and so we have a lot of stories like this. I was going to bring you, I have a couple books of Oscar the Blind Cat. I have that. I know that one time Jackie read Betty Tales. That's a book about a kitty with CH. And I think we all know that we have a few CH cats here. I actually want to see if I could get a couple more books on children's books on cats with CH, because I think that Betty Tales book is really, really good. Oh, you're welcome, Dutchie. So I'll talk to Jackie probably tomorrow, and maybe we can do this again, maybe this weekend, or I don't know if it'll be once a week, but I definitely would like to do it just as kind of a, yeah, it is a great place to go to get away from it all. And maybe I can, tell you a little bit about some things. I know in one of the books there's a story about Gallant in one of these FFRC books, and a lot of folks here probably don't know the story about Gallant. Thank you, Piper Joe. And I can tell you the story about Gallant, and what was written. Oh boy, there's some serious stuff going on here. Oh, you're welcome, Kristen. Oh, look, what are you guys doing? Huh? What are you guys doing? So we'll see what happens. As you guys know, we just moved to Defiance a couple weeks ago. There's still a lot. We still have a lot of things in boxes. Thank you, Daisy, Solly, and Pippi's dad. So there's not going to be any shortage of books that I can read, especially these little children's books. The only regret that I have is that a lot of these are children's books. It's probably a little late for children, but what are you going to do? So that basically concludes the read along today, and I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did. I'm hoping to do it again soon. Now let me ask you guys, when the last person leaves, do they turn the lights out still, or do they leave the lights on? Hi, Canby. Canby. Oh, the cat dog. Just move this here. Hi. Rachel. Hi, Rachel. What? Hi. Oh, I see the Munchkins are. The Munchkins are out. The little Munch. Hi, Marilyn. How you doing? Are you trying to climb on me? Huh? All right. Well, then I'm going to have to grab you. Okay. The lights stay on. Okay. All right. All right. Hey, Kiara. 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 Hi, Asha. I didn't see you there. Did you hear your name? You were in one of the books. Well, you were mentioned in one of the books. Hey, you. A little Siamese. You're a little Siameser. You're a little Siameser. Hi, Nyota. Nyota. All right. What? What? Who's being? Oh. Yes, we are all kids at heart. How you doing? Kiara and Marilyn. Thank you, Ms. M. I appreciate that. You know, I don't know where you are, but that's got to be Jessie. Yeah, yep, there you are, Jessie. You knew that had to be Jessie. Yes, Jessie. All right. All right. Let me tell you, those little measers, they can probably take care of themselves. So I only drank one of my Diet Mountain Dew, so that's good. All right, everybody. I will see you later. Hopefully we can do this again real soon. Everybody stay safe and remember social distancing, because people are still getting sick. So, hey you. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye. Bye, little Yankee.